Hello there. I'm just waiting to see if anyone's watching. Pop on and say hi if you're here. I'll give it a couple of minutes. Hi, Deborah. Just give it a couple of minutes. It's only 1 minute past. Now, I do hope you can't hear any background noise. Actually, I might just close the door a little bit. My husband is out tonight, and there's not much around, but any little bit of weather, and my dog he wants me. So if I shut the door, he'll want to come in, and he'll bark. And if I don't shut it, the older boy's up and he's just cooking Pop-Tarts or something. So, hi, Linda. Hi, Rachel. How are you? All right, we've got a few people joining us now, so welcome. If you're new here, and I know we've got a lot of new followers lately, I'm Naomi. I'm one of the brand ambassadors. Oh, hello, Miss Susan. So if this is the first time you've joined me on one of these free little mini lives, I pop on, I don't know, once a fortnight, sometimes in my quieter seasons, although that hasn't been for a while now, between kids and life and that sort of thing. Sometimes I do it weekly, but when I can, I pop on and just do a free little demonstration with some products and just show you a few little techniques. So tonight we're going to be creating with a bit of Christmas stuff and the brand new Lindy's Magicals. Hi, Amy. It's Naomi tonight. I'm one of the brand ambassadors. So all right, so if you are joining us here tonight and you haven't joined our creative community, jump onto the Facebook group and pop on there. We always share lots of inspiration. There's a monthly competition that you can go in to win a voucher. Lots of cool things happening on there and lots of inspiration from not just myself and, oh, that's okay, Amy, not just from myself and the other brand ambassadors, Tegan and Linda, Tegan and Jackie, but everyone shares their work on there. So it's a lovely little community and very supported. And of course, Nat's on Instagram as well. And the website for all your goodies is there. So let's have a look at what I'm going to play with tonight. And I have done a little sample here. So the lovely Sandy, who's one of our lovely friends from the Nellie Mae creative community, she did something a little while ago with these little stars from Kmart. So I grabbed some and had a little play, and I thought I'd recreate this in both the ceramic version, which is the Kmart version, plus I'll do some paper ones if you don't have a Kmart or you don't want to go to Kmart. I love Kmart, but I don't like Kmart for craft supplies. They're cheap and nasty mostly, but things like this that I can make my own is perfect. So I've done this little thing here, and that's going to be what I'm going to show you how to do, but I might make them a bit different because they're going on my tree and I love Christmas. So now I'm using Nat's new Go Girl Magicals tonight, and I'm using the shimmer set. So if you didn't see, Natalie has created her second set of colours of Lindy's Gang's Magicals. So they come in the sprays and the flat sprays and the shimmer Magicals and the flat Magicals. So tonight I'm going to use the shimmer Magicals. So I'll just put those out there, and I haven't cracked those ones open yet because I went straight to the flats and the sprays. And what else I'm going to use, I'm going to have a little play with these Kate Crane paper artsy Christmas things, but you could use anything you want. So any Christmas stamp that you love, these are still available on the website and I love them. I've had them for a few months now and I've made a few things, but they're just cool. And they're a red rubber stamp. They stamp beautifully. Some of mine aren't in. I've already pre-stamped mine so you don't have to watch me doing that. So this one here is the KC007. So if you just put that code in or you look up Kate Crane, you'll find that on the website. And this one is KC008. And this one's got a couple of little words. Actually, don't think I stamped my words, so I might have to grab, oh, and they're stuck on the back. Okay, what else have I got? I have some paper artsy tissue paper. Now this is one piece and they are huge. You get 4 in a set, and these are still on the website, and it's going to be really hard. Hello, Daphne. It's going to be really hard for me to pull it out on the camera because I'm so zoomed down, but it's a nice thin, it's definitely a tissue paper. It's not as thick as collage papers, but there's plenty going on here. And I've done about 4 projects with this and I still haven't even used half. So it's a really easy way to add a little bit of background. You could use, one of these as your whole thing. It does have a bit of snow stuff on it, but not a lot. And I could just use that in a background as I've done here. You can't even tell that, like, there's a couple of stars. There's a little bit up there. You can't even tell that it was a snowflake once upon a time. It's just for the marks that I like it. And there's quite a few nice non-snowy things. There's a bit of a tag there you could use that for. Down the bottom here, there's some beautiful baubles. There's quite a few tags on there, actually. So I fell in love with this one when I saw it. So I'm going to play with that tonight too. Hello, Miss Sharon. How are you? And the other thing I'm going to do, so with my, so let me get out these Kmart stars. So I have, these are just a ceramic 3-pack of stars for $2 from Kmart. I'm sure you can get them anywhere. I have primed them. I've put on a primer. You could just put gesso, which is the same thing. Hi, Susan. Thanks, ladies, for joining me on this Sunday night. So you could use anything, but what I'm going to show you, if you don't have a Kmart or anything, you don't like ceramic heavy things hanging on your tree. I also love doing paper things on my tree. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do 2 different paper versions at the same time. So to do this, now you can use you could draw your own star, do whatever. I'm just going to simply, and I just realized I didn't get my pencil out. I'm going to trace these stars and just use that as my template. So if you want to play along at home and you don't have anything ceramic, so I've got a piece of watercolor. This top one's a watercolor cardstock, which Nat sells. It's Canson. She sells it in a ream. It's very good quality. I use it all the time. And then I've just got a piece of thick, I think it's Foundations cardstock on the second one. So I'm just going to show you how they react to watercolor. And to the normal paper. So if you don't have any magicals, you are seriously missing out. I love magicals. Whenever I use them, every single time, without a doubt, I'm like a kid watching fireworks. It's the oohs and the ahs, and I'm like seriously surprised by how they sprinkle and the color and the vibrancy of them every time I use them. So if you don't have them, and you have watercolors, you could use watercolors and do exactly the same thing. So I'm just tracing around those so I can prep those. Oh, who did I miss? Hi, Susan. Hi, Michelle. Welcome. All right, so I'm going to quickly cut these out. And I'm not going to be pedantic about it. So I'm cutting two, because I'm going to double side them. If I was putting something cardboardy on my tree, this is what I'd do. I'd want something a bit sturdy. So I'm going to like turn them around and put one, like back them up, just to make them a bit more thick. So if you are playing along and that's what you're going to do, that's what I would suggest. Just chuck them on. But yes, the ceramic one is just a $2 Kmart thing, and it's $3. I got them in Coffs Harbour. They probably don't have, when I was on holidays, they probably don't have them in Canberra because our Kmart kind of sucks. But yes. Oh, and my dog's come in to join us all. Sit down, buddy. So, yes, if you're new here, welcome, welcome, welcome. I'm Naomi. I'm one of the brand ambassadors, and just giving you a little bit of inspiration and do a few techniques. I'm also, if you don't know me, haven't met me before, I'm a designer for Lindy's as well. Nat and I, and the lovely Kate, who organises us all, are the 3 Aussies for Lindy's, which I was super excited when I did that. So I've been doing it for about 1.5 years now. So I was super excited when I found out that Nat had her new set, so I can share my Lindy's and my Nat May stuff all on all the pages, and it's just like a little collaboration accidentally. So love it, and I love the colours. I actually gave one of these stars to my 5-year-old today. He said, I want to do something with you, Mum. So I said, come on, come in here and I'll let you play with Mummy's special paints. So he sat up and painted one of these little ceramic stars and with the Lindy's and chucked them on the tree. Right, so I'm not being super duper fancy here. I'm just cutting out cardboard and I'm just preparing myself. So I'm not going to gesso any of these. If you haven't used Lindy's before, now the reason we gesso is to give some waterproof kind of thing and a backing. If you're using a Dilutions journal and you're going to be adding a lot of liquid to it, I would heavily suggest that you use some gesso, whether it's clear or white. But gesso does change. It's not bad. There's no right or wrong to it. But gesso does change the Lindy's and how it goes on. It looks differently. It looks different, sorry. And it goes on differently. So, and you will see that with the watercolor and the normal cardstock. And then this one, of course, is primed. So the ceramic is primed. So it will look different as well. But I'm also adding some, sorry, my 14-year-old is creeping around the house, distracting me. He's going on camp in the morning at the crack of dawn, so I've got that job of dropping him off, and he's packing his bag, so he's creeping around quietly while the little one's asleep and Dad's out. So he knows Mum's on alive, don't make a noise. I used to put a filming in progress sign on my door so that they all stopped yelling right outside my door, and everyone got to hear the football or the boys fighting or something like that. All right, so we've prepped. So we've got 3 things happening here. This will be a double-sided star, and I'll back them like that. And this will be the same for my tree. What I might do before I do that is grab out my hole punch and just, you know, my hole punch that's, right there in front of my face. I'll just give these a quick punch. Oh, that just went everywhere. And the same with this one. Quick punch. There we go. All right. I love homemade Christmas ornaments. They're just lovely. All right, little drinks break. It's quite hot here in Canberra today. We had 27 and we haven't put our aircon on, but it's quite warm. All right, let's move on to our magicals. So I've got my little ceramic dish here that my lovely friend Susan got for me. Now, if you haven't seen the new set, the new colours, so these are brand new. If you haven't seen Lindy's before, this is Nat's brand new set. I'm not sure if they're available anywhere else, but Nat gets them first because she designed them. So we have Fierce Female Flush, Own It Orchid, Unstoppable Aqua, Get It Girl Get It Girl green and Boss Baby blonde. So I'm going to probably I'll mix them up and I'll probably use them all. So with these shakers, how they come is they're a shaker and they're a pot. So if you just wanted to sprinkle, and I might actually do one with a sprinkle and spritz technique. Actually, I'll do the pink and the purple with the sprinkle and spritz. So I'm not going to open this one because I'm going to sprinkle and spritz. So if you haven't seen a sprinkle and spritz technique before, that's where the magic happens. So I will use those two. I'll put those aside because I'm not going to open the pots. But I will for the this one I have used. Okay. So you just lift off the lid like that. Just get my little scoop. Give it a mix around. Now, the joy of having powder is that you can change the depth of your colour. So you always want to swatch to make sure that your colour, and I'm sorry if I'm telling those who have watched me before with Lindy's, but, you know, we've got lots of new faces and there's quite a few new names that I haven't. Surely, give me a thumbs up if you haven't watched me do a live before. Then I won't repeating myself. I know people can watch it back anyway. All right, so I always have a piece of paper towel and I didn't get a thumbs up, so I don't think there's anyone who hasn't seen me. Right, so I always, with my scoop, I just wipe it off on a dry paper towel just so I'm not putting those colours into the next one. The colours are beautiful, Susan. She's done a fantastic job. I thought when I first used it, the green might be a bit too fluoro-y, but it is perfect. It's a perfect Christmas tree green. And I think I'm going to be using that a lot, even outside of Christmas, definitely. And, of course, these aren't Christmas colours by any means, but I'm making them Christmas colours. So my boys will be horrified that my boys do not like pink and purple. And I know we don't have boy and girl colours, but my boys just don't like it. So when I put something pink on the tree, they're horrified. But as I tell them, it's my tree. I allow you to decorate on it. When you're old enough, you can put whatever you like. So these are little brand new. Oh, and look at that yellow. That is gorgeous. And so these ones have the shimmer. If you don't like shimmery things, there's the flat set of Magicals, exactly the same as what I'm using here, but there's no shimmer to any colour, and the flat sprays. So if you like to use your Magicals in a spray, then that's what you can do. So I've got some fancy Canberra water here, which is definitely not fancy, and a dropper, whatever they're called. Nat sells these for like $2 or something. I don't know, something like that. And I'm just popping some liquid into each of those. I normally find that if I squeeze the end, that's enough liquid for one scoop. Sometimes I can add more, but generally it's enough. I always have two pots when I'm working with Magicals as well. One is to keep my water clean and the other's to clean my brush. So now I'm using my baby wipe. And you can see that shimmer sitting on top of the green there. Oops. It's gone into the next punnet. All right. Have to be careful. They're being stubborn, those little pieces there. I'm trying not to, I think I may have overfilled it a little bit. The green is lovely. They're all lovely, actually. And the Fierce Female Flush, you can get that to be quite a nice pale pink, but you can also get it to be quite a pale skin colour. So I'm definitely going to use that when I'm doing some girls. All right, so let's do a quick swatch. I'm going to use a watercolour brush because else I'm using. Oh, that's not a watercolour brush. I normally go to my Art by Marlene's. I'm going to get a piece of scrap paper. Here's something I've prepared earlier. And I'm just going to start with my lightest colour. So I'm just checking for the intensity to make sure that it's as bright as I want it. Or, I mean, if I've done it too bright, I can always pull some of it into another one. Oh, look at that green. And that aqua, beautiful. And they combine beautifully together. So I'll put that aside. Those colours kind of remind me a bit of pine lime. That ice cream. The pine lime ice cream was one of my favourites. All right. So let's get this colour on. No, actually, let's not get the colour on yet. I'm going to pop that aside so I don't knock it over. And what I want to do first is get a bit of... No, actually, I'll put the tissue paper on this one first, which is what I've done on the other one. And these ones I'll put the colour on and then put the tissue paper over the top. So you can do the tissue paper either way. So I'm just going to, because these are such small areas, I'm going to pull, like I might pull this part here and use that. Because I just want the marks. I don't really care what it says or... So what I'm going to use is some gel medium. And my dodgy brush, that is my gel medium brush. And I'm just going straight on here. And I don't care if I'm getting creases, because what the creases do is they actually add dimension for the magicals to sit on. So that's a good thing in this. And I'm putting gel medium underneath, over top, and I will move it onto the back as well. So I'll just rip that there so it doesn't crease at the edge. Yeah, sorry, I just realised my hand's in the way. Forgot I have to do online creating, camera creating. So I'm just going to lift that up and wrap that over the back. And the same with that. You don't need much gel medium when you're working with this tissue paper. It is so fine and thin. I'll put a bit more up there. And over the back. Does anyone else create their own, besides Christmas cards and tags, does anyone else create other Christmas things of their own? I do my tags every year, and I normally have a session where I just create my, I forgot to dry the back of that, so now I'm going to be holding that up. I just create my magical backgrounds one day, and then the next day I put it all together. So I have a little session. All right, we're going to go around this corner here. I think that will do me. Maybe I'll just use this little bit here. This little snowman. It's got some quite interesting characters on that. So I'm going to put that. Actually, I'm going to quickly grab my heat gun. Thing with ceramic is that if you're using a heat gun, it heats up a lot. So I'm just going to dry one side so I can put it down while I work on the others. If it will let me, because it does get quite hot quite quickly. Fingers burning. Okay, that side is dry enough that I can pop it over here to dry. All right, whoops. So this mat that I'm working on is the new Lindy's mat, which Nat sells. It is fantastic. I literally had paint pen I had, and they said don't leave it on too long. I left it on a day, and nothing is not coming off this mat so far. I haven't left texture paste on, but I'm a bit of a stencil cleaner, so don't normally leave that around, but it's cleaning off everything that I've applied to it. You've decorated chipboard Christmas things and made mini trees in the past. Oh yes, that's lovely. Oops, and I'll just put some more magicals on there. I've also done some Minte chipboards as well with magicals as well. Minte used to they brought out this thing for a while with a circle. All right, so I'm not going to worry about the pencil mark there. So my colours, where are my colours? Oh, now I'm going to use the pinks on this one. Now, because yellows are neutral, I can add yellows to both of them. So sprinkle and spritz technique. If you haven't used this before, and because I wasn't actually planning on doing that, so I need to make sure I locate my little spray gun, which, yes, I've got one. All right. So sprinkle and spritz. Lindy's have done the work for you with these new jars. All you have to do is sprinkle by taking this little lid off. We're going to sprinkle a little, and I'm only going to use a little bit of yellow. Sprinkle, and then you spritz the water, but I'm not going to do that yet. I'm going to put some of this flush on. A little bit more there. Oh, you got your mat. Excellent, Linda. I'm just going to have another drink. I'm very dehydrated today. All right. So, water spray, and we just give it a good, not too much, and I haven't put a lot on. Now, remembering this is plain cardstock, so there's not a lot on there. I'm going to add more now. So you can always add more. And because that's already wet, it will start to activate quickly. And I'm going to add a little bit more of the pink, the flush. A little bit more there. Some of it's not activated. You can always add more. And I will use the purple, but I'm going to use the purple in a different way. Now, you can probably see that some of those particles aren't moving, which is fine. Like it gives a really cool little effect. But if you want them to activate, which I kind of do because I'm going to be touching them, I'm just giving them, using a wet brush, I'm just giving it a bit of a love tap, just to squish down the little flower particles, just to activate them. And I didn't want to saturate. I mean, there's a fair bit of liquid on here, and I'm getting a bit of an orangey mix too going on there, which is nice. We'll do the same over here. Just activating that powder. Now, the lovely thing about Lindy's Magicals and doing this sprinkle and spritz technique, oh, look at that. So when they make up colours, they're made up of all different particles to get that colour. And when you use the sprinkle and spritz technique, you will find that some colours separate because you're getting the different powders. And that just there was a good example of that. We've got the darker in the middle, and as I tapped on it, it activated. All right. So that's pretty good. I'm good with that. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to add a little bit. I don't want to sprinkle the purple on. So all I'm going to do is on my mat, I'm just going to pop a little bit of that there. And with my wet brush, I'm just going to add the water to it. Isn't that pretty? As soon as that liquid hits that, it's gorgeous. And then I'm just going to add a bit in certain places. Just a little bit. I don't mind a bit of white. It's a bit like a tie-dye colour. Now, what I want to show you, see over here, this is quite dry, and this is dry too. And I don't want this splodgy edge. I don't want it to look like it's painted on. So what you do with Magicals is you just give it a bit of a very light spritz. And it gives it a bit more of a organic finish. I hate using that word, but it does. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to quickly... I swear I had a... Oh, no, I used my baby wipe. I'm going to quickly wipe it up and give them a bit of a dry. And then I'm going to add a little bit more of that purple in a different effect. Just so we're going with... We've got sprinkle. We've got a little bit of painterly on there. A bit of painterly hands. And... Pop that up. And then we're going to add just for a different effect so it looks different. All right, so just a really quick little dry. Now, this plain cardstock I'm using is holding the liquid quite well. They're not really curving too much. If you did have cardstock that curled, and this is starting to curl it because I'm using my heat gun, if you've got a laminator, just pop it through the laminator. Just pop some, I use some kitchen greaseproof paper, and I just pop it through that so it doesn't put glitter all over my rollers. Oh, hello, Robin. Thanks for joining. We're just having a little play with some Lindy's, and we're going to create some different little ornaments for our tree. So, that's that. Now I'm going to go back to that purple, and I'm going to put a little bit more on my mat there, just a little bit. And then I'm going to flick some on with, I've got a fan brush lying around. I can never find my fan brushes. This is a little fan brush that Nat has. So I'm just going to activate that right on my mat. I know I often do that with my Magicals. If I don't want to use a large amount, I just put it on my mat, especially if it's something that little. And I'm just going to sprinkle and splatter. Now, another thing I like to do on my mat with my Magicals, and I'll just move that out the way, give it a little bit more interest, is, where's my new little stamps that arrived? Here we go. My new little paper artsy stamps. I'm going to have to start a whole drawer for these soon. I've got so many and I love them. Is stamping with your Magicals. So what I'm going to do, now I could just put some water down and stamp onto there, and it will reactivate those. And let's see if that works. I'll just do a little bit. And don't want it too wet. Not sure if that's going to work with such fat numbers, but let's see. If I put that on there. It has worked, but you can't really see it. Okay. It works with different stamps, maybe not this one. But what I do like to do is put a bit of Magicals on my mat and stamp with it. So to do that, I just put a little bit of Magicals over here. And I spread it out, activate that, spread it out. Make sure all that powder's activated. And then making sure my numbers are up the right way. That way. So I kind of dunk it in. It's not going to be anything perfect. Oh, maybe too much there. I'm getting a couple of numbers coming out. I don't think that's going to show up on the camera. It is working, but I don't think that's going to show up on the camera. I wonder if I've got a different stamp. Let me try a different stamp that's a bit more obvious. What can I use that's close at hand? Let me get my little Art by Marlene drawer here. No, that's too tiny. Well, this one might work. All right, let's try this one. So this is a Paper Artsy Joffy JM77. I love this stamp. I use it all the time. All right, let's see if we can get it to show up. That's better. So it's not creating anything defined. We're just getting some different marks. And that's all I need. That's all I need. So I'm going to set those to a side and we'll come back to those and decorate those later. So they can dry naturally, hopefully. And I'll put those on the floor. All right, now that was a plain cardstock. Let's have a look at how we go with the watercolor cardstock. And then we'll move on to back to our ceramic. All right, my magicals. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, watercolor cardstock, as you may know, allows the liquid to flow. So I always like to put, you don't have to, but I like to put a bit of liquid down first and then use my brush. And I can still do the sprinkle and spritz if I wanted to, but I always start with my lightest colour. And all you have to do is touch the colour on, and generally the water could do the work. So I could tip that up and move that around if that's the effect I'm looking for. And that's not actually a bad idea with the yellow. That has a beautiful gold shimmer to it. It's kind of appropriate that it is a bit, it can be a bit fluoro-y, but it can be a bit goldy as well. So it just depends. So I'm just going to let that sit there, and I'm going to do the same on this one. Actually, I won't put water on this one. Let's see. So there's not as much movement here because I haven't got that watered down beforehand. So I can move it, but what you'll find is that it will stay to where my brush strokes are, which I don't really want. So I can go in after the fact, give it a bit of a spray, and then get my colour moving. And you can do this with any watercolours, but you know, I love my Lindy's. I know there's a few of us who do. All right, so, and the shimmer up here, because all the colours come down here, the shimmer's left up here. So I'm just going to add a little bit more up there. Now, if you find you've got a little bit too much liquid, all you have to do is grab a little bit of paper towel and pop a corner in, and it will suck up some of that liquid without taking too much of the colour away. All right. Now, what I love about these colours is that they blend so beautifully together. So I'm just going to add a little bit of green, move it out there, up in here. I'm a traditional Christmas colour girl. I do like my traditional green and silver or gold. I've got both. I'll let the boys pick, really, and they always pick green because we're in Canberra, so you know, Raiders family, they always pick the green. And so this will work well for my tree. I'll have to put the pink one at the back so they don't ruin it or take it off me, little buggers. All right. So if I do the same and lift it, it will go, and I'll probably lose those pops of yellow. So I don't want to do that. Now this one, because I didn't put that liquid, it's kind of pooling there. So if I want it to move out a bit more, I just give it that little bit of spray on the ends, and that allows the liquid to move. So I'm going to suck some of that up. I think I might do another page in my DIY calendar, my Funky Fossil calendar for you girls next time. I think I've only done one live and I've done the rest in person. I haven't finished it. So, all right. So now we're moving on to this teal. And because it's quite deep, I've made mine quite deep. I'm just going to touch it on the ends there. And it makes a absolutely beautiful blend with that other green. I might leave a little bit of white space there. It is gorgeous. And then I'm going to do the same over here. So is everybody's years or the rest of the year filling up like mine is? I literally said to my sister the other day, we need to sort out the kids' Santa photos. And she's like, are you serious? It's the beginning of November. And I'm like, yeah, because I'm filling up. Now what I'm going to do, I'm going to add some splatters on here now just to get a little bit of that different. And then I'm going to go back with the yellow and do the same with the yellow. And then you kind of get a, you know, it's just a different way of putting your colours around and getting that different effect. So that looks good to me. Just going to grab that liquid because if I pick that up and go and put it down on the floor behind me, that puddle of magicals is going to go all over my hands or the floor. And I've already created today, and this hand's purple, so there we go. How good do they look? I don't know if you can see the shimmer. Oh, I've got a fair bit of shadow tonight. Sorry, girls. Oh, hello, Emily. Hello, Tegan. All right. Now, let's move back to, let's clean up this mess. Now, sorry, girls. I don't know if that's bad for you, but I'm just going to move my light. I did test this, I swear. So it should have been set. Just going to move my light around because it looks like I can see a shadow of myself. So hopefully that might just be that it's night time. Anyway, that's the best I can do. Gonna grab this and pop that through there because I went over my little. All right, that is all nice and dry now. Oh, I might just give it a really quick, because I did a few layers on there, I'll just quickly give it a heat set. So if you've just joined us, what we've done is we're creating some little Christmas ornaments, and one of our lovely community members, Sandy, created some of these little ornaments that are a $2 thing from Kmart. So what I've done is I've used that as a template really, and I've created a watercolor one with just watercolor cardstock and just some normal cardstock. So they're down on the floor drying, and this one I've put some of the Paper Artsy tissue paper on, and we've just dried that, and now we're going to add these magicals to it. Now there are some creases in there, and that's good. So these are going to be double-sided because they're going to hang on the tree. And once we've got these backgrounds done, we're going to move on to painting with some magicals and colouring in some things that I've stamped. So again, I'm just going to do the same thing, and I haven't sprayed this one, but that's okay. I think I'll just blob it on, and I'll go down the sides as well because, you know, we're going to see that. Blob that on. That's a good bit of yellow, and those colours are just beautiful. I'm just in love with them. New faves. Well done, Nat, I say. I'm going to have to do some trees with this green. Tegan, you'll love this green. Tegan's a green girl. She loves her green, so. And let's get this aqua in there too. All right. Now, I did say I was a traditional Christmas colour girl, but let's be honest, putting red on here in a magical is just going to make it look like a bloodshed. So we'll add the red with our stamping. All right, so that side's done. I'm just going to give that a quick dry. Yours arrived yesterday and looking, oh, excellent. That's wonderful. There. Which ones did you get? Or did you get them all? Because you couldn't choose. I got them all. I get them all because I'm with Lindy's, but I would get them all anyway. And I had a big supply when I first signed up with Lindy's anyway. Nat sold, every time Nat would play with a set, I'm like, I have to have that set. So, and I'm probably doing the same thing for, yep, you got them all. Yep, excellent. You'll love them. And I've already used my flats quite a few times. So this is the first time I've used my magicals. And I've used the sprays as well. So I think they all have their own purpose and uses. You know, if you didn't want the shimmer, you like the shimmer, but you didn't want a certain shimmer, you know, it was a bit too girl, like the green was a bit too shimmery. My boys don't really like shimmer stuff on birthday cards and stuff, so I always use flats. If you wanted to add a bit of shimmer, you could use like the fairy fluff and put a white shimmer to it. Okay, so that's nice and dry. That's looking really good. So we're just going to flip that over and do the same again. Oh, you got them all too, Susan. Yeah. She did a good deal though, didn't she? You couldn't really not. All right. So just getting that on there. If you wanted it more, so this is not as vibrant as the paper because I have got that gesso underneath, and I've primed that. And that was just because it was ceramic. And then I've got gel medium over the top, so it's got a little bit more. And sometimes it takes away a bit of the colour if you've got a primer on there, which is needed. But you can always just dry it and do another coat. So that's what I'll have a look. I don't think it needs them. These are really vibrant colours, so I don't think it will need it. And this is the background too, so I'm good. And I'm just blobbing that on, and let the paint, let the paint and the water do its job. Like, let it combine. Don't know if I added splatters to the other side, but I'm definitely going to add some splatters on this side. I don't think I did, but anyway, that doesn't matter. They don't need to be the same on both sides. We'll just add a little bit in there, and then give a couple little flicks, and that is done. So I will put that one down to dry by itself as well, naturally. All right, clean that up. Now let's bring in the stamped images, which are going to be our focal point. So where's my sample that I did earlier? So these beautiful, you can use any Christmas stamps. You cleaned out the tuggers came out yesterday of white caps. Now I have to go back for ceramic stars. Yes, well, I didn't see them in there, Gay. I didn't see them in there, but I got mine when I was in Coffs Harbour, so I didn't buy them all at Tuggers. Oh, Tuggers, you mean Tuggerong? Your Canberra? I assume so. Anyway, it wasn't me if there's none there. So any focal point you've got, you can do. I just love these little guys. They're so cute. And you could do this on a tag as well. So if you didn't want to put them on the tree, this could be a tag. Like, no problem. Just do it. Just do it as a star tag. Like, how good's that? Oh, yep. Oh, you cleaned them out. Funny. Well, if there's no stars left, that wasn't me. I got mine when I was in Coffs Harbour. I can't vouch for Tegan, though. All right. Where did I put my stamped images? I put them in a very safe spot next to me. All right, so what I'm going to do quickly, just so I've got less card to work on, because, you know, when I'm live, my space is confined to what I normally have, because I don't want to have to, you guys not to be able to see, so I zoom in. So now, when you're stamping with some of these, you'll see that I've been a bit heavy-handed with the frame. and I've pressed hard. So that's okay if I was going to cut out the frame, but for these ones I'm not. So I'll cut that off, and I'm not going to use that one, but I will use these two. And I always like to colour mine, especially when I'm working with magicals and painting, while they're still on. I'll just cut them into there. So this stamp is one stamp in that set. I did do, and then this is a little angel. So I thought I'd use her this time. Now I'll get another blank one just for sizes. I don't want to have to paint. So yeah, like the other ones, I'll cut this bit off because it's too big for those. So if I don't need to color that. So let's have a look here. So I've just realized I probably should have made up some of these colors, but what I'm going to do is grab a few extra colors to color these because I want some red. So let me grab a different lilies and what's closest by that I've used recently. Shall I grab my tub out and show you how I store my lilies? I will. I just got to make sure I grab the right tub. All right, here we go. There's lots of reds in here. So I have some of these from Kmart. And this is where I store my magicals, and then I have my other ones in a different spot. They were in colour order, but that didn't last very long, so I just shift through them. Now, this one would be appropriate. I knew we had this. Rudolph's Nose Red. That's definitely going to be in there. What other colour am I going to use? I don't like using blue, so I've got red, I've got yellow. I might use a bit of pink, which I've already got. So maybe I'll put a bit of, maybe I will put the decisions. Maybe I'll put a bit of azure in there. How about that? Bit of azure. All right, I've got my pinks. Pop those on the floor. All right, so I'm going to make up. So these are the old pots, if you haven't seen. So the other sets that have been bought out before, the last few sets, come like this. So if you want to sprinkle and spritz these colours, you just put a dry brush in there and then sprinkle it on. Easy peasy. All right, so that's the red. Now this one, I can never say the name. Azure. Susan would be like yelling at the pronunciation at the screen at me right now. I know, Susan. I can never say this word every time, and I've often not used it just because I know I can't say it. You do need to order the new set, Tegan. It is very nice. All right, look at that red. So it's not a blood red. Oh, that blue is nice. The azure. All right. So apothecary. No, it just doesn't sound right. I'll ask Google later when I'm finished. All right, so let's just get the swatch paper back and just swatch those colours, just so we can see that they've got the right depth. Oh, that's a nice red. Nat's red is beautiful as well. The Trust the Process red, and that's a nice blue. It doesn't have shimmer to it though, and because I'm working on the shimmers, I could always add shimmer with the. I can add shimmer to whatever really. So my idea is that these frames, and I've done this before, these frames are going to go onto my star in the middle here, right there. They literally just fit. And then these baubles are going to hang into it. So I'll probably have to cut those off. So this will be my background colour. So I might actually do those blue and then put the red on the baubles. So you can just use your magicals like a watercolour. And did I say I was going to do blue? Yeah, I did. So just paint it on. Now, I won't do both sides of this because I don't want you to watch me paint everything, but I will do one side of each of them. And I just realised that I've only done enough stamps for 2, so that's okay. So I'll just do 2. Now, I'm going to go over that because I want the frame to be darker. But to make that lighter, I can just add a bit more water. And just water it down. I don't want anything perfect. I want it to look painted because they're handmade. So that's really all I'm after there. I might go over the blue a bit later. And this girl can probably have, I think she's going to have a lot of, I might need to get the pink out here. Oh, let's see how we go. Keep some at tuggers for you too, Leslie. Let's see how we go with this flush, the female flush. All right, I'm going to have to water it down a fair bit to use this on her face. But let's see how we go. It is quite a light pink, so that's, I mean, it's a fairy, so we don't have to be skin tone here. So we'll just grab a little bit here. I don't want too much liquid. All right, let's see. No. Oh, I need a smaller brush. All right, I'm moving to this brush for her face. Now, the important thing is when you're stamping your pages, make sure that you use archival ink. I'm sure most of us use archival ink for a lot of stamping anyway, but make sure you do, because otherwise, if it activates, I think that's her hand there too. If it's not waterproof, it will reactivate with the magicals. So that's a pretty good little, you know, pinky tone. And while I've got it there, her little cheeks can have the hotter pink. Now, what you need to do when you're colouring, if you don't want them to run, you need to leave a white border between the bits. Her cheek's running a little bit there, but that's okay. I'm not pedantic about it. But if I don't want it to run, I need to make sure there's, hello, Leslie. Need to make sure there's a bit of a gap from one colour to the other, or dry between. So yeah, it's quite a nice little skin colour. If you were colouring with your magicals, it's quite a nice little skin colour. All right. Yeah. All right, so I'm not going to colour both of those. I'm not going to let you sit and watch me do that. What am I going to do her colour-wise? She's going to go on, I'm going to put her on my pink one. So maybe I'll do her dress. Yep, I'm going to do her in this because that's pretty. Look at that. What colour was that? The Unstoppable Aqua. It is beautiful. I'm going to be using that a lot. You know I like my aqua colours. Now, if I want to change the tone of that a little bit, I can grab a bit of that blue and just pop a bit down the bottom and make it like a ombre effect. It's gone a bit darker down the bottom. The Lindy's with the watercolours are quite, they do allow that. They do allow you to get inventive with your colour mixing. And I do that a bit. Grab that azure and it's just dab it down the bottom, a little bit to the side here, a little bit to the side there, and then let it flow. And then we might give her yellow wings. Now, I'm not going to fussy cut her out with you guys. I'll take a picture and put it up later, but I'll fussy cut out the baubles because they're nice and round and they're not going to be too hard to cut. I'm going to have to cut around her hair, but it'll be worth it. I don't cut too close for these things. It's not worth it. Not worth my time. And a yellow crown. Should have done that first, shouldn't I? If you put a bit too much on there, just grab that paper towel, let it suck up the water, and your colour's still sitting there. All right, let me get into that. I'm going to go into that blue and just dab on. Now, it will dry quite quickly, so that's not running into there. That one is, because it wasn't quite dry, but that's okay. It's all the same down there. And then across there. So it's quite a cute way, and what I'm going to do, because I don't have a brown, I'm just going to put a bit of blue there and a bit of red there. Make some sort of purpley thing just for that wand, just so it's a different colour. It's kind of a brownie. So that was, how easy was that? You just ordered, and the New Lindy's, or the New Lindy's and Claire's December class. Yes, I did that too. But look how cool that looks. And it's got a beautiful shimmer to our little girl. So let me quickly move on to one of these baubles. I won't do all of them. I also got Claire's cover class as well. So I realised I was really behind. I knew I was really behind with Claire's classes. I was trying to prepare myself for surgery that I had coming up, which still hasn't happened. And I got behind with Claire's things. So I started doing some yesterday and I realised I was back to August. Oops. So that's what happens if it's not dry. So easy fix. Just grab my paper towel and I'll just blob it up. So what I might do now is do the red. And I'll leave a little bit of a, try and leave a little bit of a gap. And I find leaving a little bit of a white gap makes it look like it is hand done. And that's what you want. Otherwise you'd just buy an image and print it, wouldn't you? If you're using it, you want it to look hand drawn. All right, now let's see how I go getting that yellow back over the top. Probably should have waited a little bit longer. But that's okay, it worked. No, don't do that. It's all right, I sucked it up. There we go. And then we'll do, what colour are we going to do this one? So I've got, we might add that aqua. Yep, we'll go with the aqua. We might add the aqua with the green this time. A little bit of that proper green. You just need to put a little dob in there and it can like mix the way it wants. And it actually looks lovely. And then I'll just put this very small, yeah, up. Do as I say, not as I do. There we go. I smudged it over again. It is very forgiving though. There we go. So while that's sitting there to dry, I'm going to quickly cut these out so that I can get on with the next bit. Now, if you just wanted a frame, you could just cut the middle out. It's quite warm here, so that has actually dried really well. You're very behind now, yeah. Are you as behind as me? I was August. I've done August last night. So I am up to September now. All right. Now let me get back my I'll grab this one and this one, which isn't quite dry, but I'll get that heat gun back out. Oh, well, I'm behind you, Tegan, so I figure that's what January school holidays are for, when I take some time off and take the kids to the pool in the morning and let them wear them out, and in the afternoon they can veg and watch movies while I do some craft. All right, so I'm just, and that definitely, look at the vibrancy of that, and the tissue paper has helped with that vibrancy, but the ceramic has definitely, even though it's got gessoed, it's definitely taken, I'm just gonna, because the colour's there, it's just got a bit of liquid there, so I'm just gonna, didn't pull off much, I'm just gonna make sure it's dry, and it's hot. All right, so we'll pop that up there, just gonna make sure they're dry before I cut them. And move that one away from my wet baby wipe. All right, and is the girl dry? Is she dry? We're at the back end now. I've only been going for an hour, so doing pretty good. I thought this would be quite a quick little thing to do. Right, we'll cut those out later. Move those to the side. Let's go back to our stars. So, holes at the top. That one's not even in the middle. Now, I might continue with this stamp, but I also, where did that other stamp go? Here, the 1, 2, 3. So I'm going to use this number 1, which was the paper artsy one. Just got to make sure it's up the right way. So I'm going to put some stamping on there, and I'm going to use black. Yeah, I am. And of course, everything, I pushed everything to the back just then. Oh, night, Tegan. Oh, hello. Oh, you got 3 of Nats too, Tegan. Oh, hello, Tina. Night, Tegan. Hope you sleep well, darling. Now, I will have to show you. These are some of those the stamps I did earlier, just with watercolours. How cute are they? I actually cut them up and use them on my other one, so I might use those as well. All right, so a little bit of stamping. And I'm just going to, making sure those numbers are up the right way. I'm not going to do a heap. I'm just going to add a bit of grunge to it. And a bit of hair, apparently. And this one, I will turn that over. Because I've got my Lindy's mat, it's, it'll be fine. So see, it didn't really matter that I had a snowman on there because it's covered anyway. But gives it a bit of a grunginess. Baby wipe. Yes, I'm also a stamp cleaner. If you haven't seen before, I'm a stencil and a stamp cleaner. So that was the archival ink that was just on that mat. So see how nice and easy it comes off? It's probably the best one I've had. All right, so this is that Paper Artsy Joffy JM77 that I love. And Nat's had it for a while. I think she must have got it restocked because I use it all the time. And it just gives a little something to my... So as I said before, if you didn't want to put these on the tree and make it into a ornament with the paper ones, you could just make it these are your Christmas tags. Nice and easy. Use some Lindy's in your background and a bit of stamping and a bit of something else over the top. What else did I do on my other one? Some dots. I'd like to do dots. Now, I could get my... Oh, look, I'm going to get my new Nat May stamp out. Dot, 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 dots. All right. I love that we've got a different variety of dots in this one. So I'm going to use that one and maybe that one. All right. So I want to bring some white back in. So what I'm going to use, if I can find it on my absolutely messy desk, good thing I'm not working from home tomorrow, is a bit of white paint. Oh, thanks, lovely. Oh, I can't see what Susan. That's because you've been gallivanting around the countryside. So I'm just using a bit of white paint. Now, this isn't going to give me anything really white because we've got Lindy's, and acrylic paint reacts to Lindy's. So I'm just going to put a little bit of marks just there, a little bit up there. It's just a little bit of something. Down there. I think what time is it? My big boy must be getting ready to go to bed. Big camp in the morning. So it's just a little something. And then clean my stamp. And then this one. Yeah, I might just do a little bit of this one. On the edge of that, yes. Maybe up the edge of that one. I don't know if you guys can, you probably can't see that very well. I will bring it up to camera in a second. Oh, no, he's in the shower now. He's going to Jarvis Bay for a 2-day camp. All these camps for his classes for outdoor ed this year have been 1-night camps, and this one's 2-night camp, so he's very excited about that one. Little brother's not happy because I miss you. So you can see that's just creating, you know, just a bit more interest in our backgrounds. You know, they're not particularly white anymore on this one, the dots, but it's just giving a bit of interest, a little bit of lightness to it because there's quite a lot of colour there. And now you know what I'm going to do, don't you? I'm going to use this white and make some splatters. You know, so I'm a bit of a splatter queen, and we do splatters because it just creates extra marks, and marks creates interest. And I just seem to love everything being covered in white splatters in my life. So, you know, got my laptop out, it's got white splatters, my phone, I think one it went up into you guys, and yep, you got me, Tina. Went up into the phone, and I had a white dot on my camera for one thing. All right, so that's good. I'll just give that a little heat. No, actually, we're nearly done, girls. Not quite, but nearly. I won't bring the heat gun out just yet. Let's finish off this. So we want to bring our focal points together. Now, these are my go-to scissors. My new go-to scissors. I can't remember what they're called. But if you look at, Couture Creations, there you go. Thank God for the naming on them, hey? Yeah, I don't have issues with arthritis or anything yet. I'm sure it's going to come. So I like a little scissor. That's just me. Each to their own, but if you like a little scissor, these are quite good for fussy cutting. All right. I'm not cutting inside that ribbon. That's going to stay white. So we've got that like that. And we've got to get our quotes yet, which are part of this stamp set as well. And, of course, I still like to finish it off with gold splatters. Oh, I didn't add anything to this one, but that's okay. This ribbon's plain. So Tina, this is a good little thing for little boys or little girls, is to cut out some, if you don't have you're not near a Kmart, which I don't think you're near one anyway. Kmart have these ceramic stars for $2 for a 3-pack, which my little one painted one today. But if not, you can just cut out some stars and get them to paint with some watercolors or some magicals, and get him to paint some Christmas ornaments, chuck on the tree, or some tags for you. So I'm just colouring that ribbon there because I missed it. I'll pop that over there. And then this girl, I feel like I coloured something else, but maybe I didn't. So I'm going to cut off her bottom. Well, not her actual bottom, the bottom of her. I did say I wasn't going to put this one here, but I'm going good for time. So, you know, if you ladies want to stick with me, or some of you are still here. Some people, I don't always advertise I do Christmas because some people don't like Christmas stuff. But I love it. And you probably won't find Nat doing too many Christmas things. Or she does every now and then. She surprises us, but she doesn't do too much Christmassy. I have to say I love Christmas, but I don't like all the stuff being out in Christmas in July. It's just not my thing. I have a limit. I have a limit that is October. Is when my tree's up. Like, I'm happy to put my tree up early, but I have a October limit, and as soon as Christmas festivities have finished, whether that's Boxing Day, Christmas Day, or what? No, not Christmas Day, but Boxing Day at the earliest. The tree's down, that's it. I'm done. And the after Christmas shits kick in. Not really, but I just need the tree down and packed away. It's just my thing. 100, yeah. So a bit of cardstock and get him to make some like little tags, little labels, or, you know, little Christmas ornaments. You could do baubles in the shape of a circle with the paper. Always coming up with little things for my little man, although he hasn't been quite into his craft as much lately. It's getting to the end of the year, you know, when the kids get cranky. I used to always know with my oldest when it was getting close to the end of term, because him and his best mate would fight, and the schools would call, and it was never Thomas starting it. He's a gentle, but the other kid would, and Thomas would just, his tolerance levels were just diminished by the time it got to the last week of term. I'm like, yep, we definitely need a break from school. December 1st is my home. However, I had to buy one as we didn't have one. Oh, it's always nice to have a new tree. You probably haven't had one since you girls were little. Yes, I break that December 1st tradition, and I always have. My mum got over that for a while, but yes. And I've got a December birthday in my house too, my husband. But he soon learnt very early on that it was best to let my Christmas crazy kids and me put the tree up when we choose to, because it's just how it is. It's just how it is. So, yeah, my friends came over yesterday for dinner and they're like, oh, your tree's up. We're like, yep, it's up. But I know I'm not the only one. I know there's other people that do it. And that year that we had lockdown, was that 2021? We had lockdown in October, and we came in. I think we put our tree up in October that year. I'm like, oh, well, may as well do it while we're stuck at home. All right. I'm getting there. Sorry, I hate making you watch me fussy cut, but there was no way out of that with this. All right, how cute is that? I love that. Okay, let's get, oh, you know what? Maybe I could cut that frame out, that other frame out, and put that around her, give it with just white. All right, I'm working on the fly here, girls. I'm changing my mind. Now, I need to cut that middle bit out, so I'm just going to bend that. Yeah, that's right, Gay. It's my little one hasn't done that yet, but he's only at preschool. So, well, he's at preschool and daycare, which he hates daycare. Ever since he started preschool, he hates daycare, and my foot's sore, my leg hurts. So we've just got to get him through to mid-December when school finishes, and then we're done with daycare fees forever, for life. Yeah, I'd like that. I like that, and I'm actually going to put that on an angle and then put her in there. Ooh, yes. Okay, we're coming towards the end. Not quite. The finishing touches. Need to find my glue, which is right in front of my face. All right, so I'm going to pop that down. I'm just using my Art by Marlene sticky glue. And I'm going to pop that down on an angle. I'm super impressed. My kids have been super quiet tonight. The little one's starting to get pocket money. So his first job, that's on the list, because he keeps asking for things. So we're like starting to teach him the value of money. And the first thing on his job list is don't get out of bed. This one I'm going to put straight, I think. So he didn't get out of bed. Yes, it will be like a big pay rise, no more daycare. And he will love it too, because he just hates daycare. We went from, when they first start daycare and they cling to your leg and they cry every day. Well, we got past that, and then we went back to it this year. It was, I think I was going to put that on that one. Oh, changed my mind. Yeah, so we went back to that this year, and it's because a lot of the other kids, when they started preschool, they dropped the days, and I work 5 days a week. So I'm still part-time, but I still work 5 days, and we just couldn't do that. So he went into 2 days of daycare and 2.5 days 2 days 1 week, 3 days the other week of preschool. And then he goes with my mum 1 day a fortnight. And yeah, his best friends were gone, so he just hated it. It was hard dropping him off, which my husband did most of those. So, oh, I love that. Okay, now let's get her on there. Bit of glue. I just go right to the edges with this glue with them, so that, because I want it all stuck down. Now I'm going to try and get her to go not near the hole, just slightly slightly off. I don't want her crown to go over the hole, so I can't put it on my tree. Nearly there. I don't mind that they're coming off a little bit, but if you don't like that, just trim it off. Now, the quotes on those stamps are super duper cute. This one says, "'Tis the season to be," and you can put jolly, tipsy, tired, grumpy, thankful. which is super. Actually, I might use that one. I'll put the other one in a safe spot on my desk somewhere. And we've got room. Oh, is it stuck on the other side of that stamp? Oh, no. I put it in my thing here. There it is. Right there. All right. So I'm just going to get a little piece of cardstock. And my archival ink. Finish this off. Grumpy sounds. I'm sure there's many people that are with you by the end of the year. With you there, Tina. All right, so it's a nice. So that one's ho ho ho, sending joy, surprise, and Christmas kisses on the first stamp. And the other stamp is that one. So I just need another piece of cardstock, not that bit. Running out of space. I like that. And I like that they don't say Happy Christmas. I've got Pommy in my blood and family over in England, and they all say Happy Christmas, which is fine, but that's not what we say. Now I've lost my scissors. They're right here. All right. So this is bringing a bit more of that balance back in. So I think I'm going to use... No, actually, before I do that, I wanted to bring one of these trees in. So this is the tree stamp, and something I coloured a little earlier. Don't think it goes on there, but I reckon I could put one on her with her. What do you reckon? I've done it before. Don't worry. It's only because it's up here that I'm not knocking it over. Do you reckon I should? No. Okay. I don't think I should. I'll leave those. They'll go on another tag. All right. This one's going to be not ho ho ho, but let's go with Sending Joy, which I already had over here. Cut that one off. Sending Joy. That one's going to go on that one. And then this, oh, actually, I might put Sending Joy on there. And then this one, because it's bigger, I don't measure or make anything straight. It's however I cut it. That's how I roll. 'Tis the season to be. I might put that. Oh, I might have to cut that. And I'm going to go tipsy. Because I'm going to be making cocktails at Christmas time. And I've got my sister for Secret Santa. Not so Secret Santa. So now I like to edge these, but I hate getting ink all over if I use my ink pad. So I just get a black Sharpie now. You know, those of you that get your nails done, you never want to get that bloody the archival ink on your nails, because it's hard to get off, even if you've got nail polish. It's just, so this is much easier, just using the edge of a Sharpie. My dog has been very well behaved tonight. He's not even in here. Oh, is he behind me? No, not behind me either. He's got a bit of anxiety, so when Dad's not here or Dad goes outside, he's a bit funny. He needs to be with one of us. Well, that's true. That's true. Better than grease. All right. So I'm going to put that right there. And this one I'm going to do something more to it, but that one's done on side A. So just going to put the ribbon through that. That's pretty cool, isn't it? So that one is the matching of this one. So they're double-sided, a little bit different. You know, that's one set of stamps, bit of collage paper or tissue paper, and $2 stars from Kmart. And then this one, I am going to do a bit more to this. I think I actually might make this into a tag. And I've got some friends coming over to make Christmas tags with me. So I might even get them to do star tags too. There you go. 'Tis the season. Oops, don't mess up the quote, Naomi. I'm trying not to jinx it to be tipsy. Right. So I'm just going to finish that one off with a bit of, I think a bit of archival around the edge, just to give it, I can still see those lines I did with the pencil marks when I traced them. So if I just finish it off, I could have drawn lines on there, but you know, stars are pretty easy to give that shadow effect to. And actually, I just realised there's one more thing that I might do on this one. And that is with my Stabilo. You're going to laugh at my Stabilo. Look how little it is. I'm just going to give that a bit of a edge there. And underneath. And that one. And then get my water brush. And just give it a bit of a shadow. Not too much water because it will reactivate my Lindy's. But a nice little bit of a shadow. Just helps them pop off. Look like they're bring them a bit forward more. I'm not going to do it on that one. No. Oh, yeah. Okay, I am. Change my mind. Fly the seat. Creating. Might even go that in there. Just a little bit. Little bit of depth to it. That's all that does. Give it a bit of depth. A bit of a shadow. And a bit up there. There we go. All right. So I'll finish those off screen. Now let me bring up the rest that I created, just so you can see how the others have dried on the watercolor paper. And you know, it's easy to make your own Christmas tags or paper baubles or whatever you want to do with those. So here's now these are the Natalie May set. Yeah, me too, Robin. It's so good. So you could see now that I've moved my, whoops, wait for the camera to catch up. You can see that shimmer in the light. So they are gorgeous. And then this is on the watercolor paper. So see how it's reacted differently, and I pretty much did the same tone, the same like paint on. This was just sprinkle and spritz. So that one's got a gorgeous yellow shimmer to it. So I will make those into, I'm actually going to make those into tags now that I've done it. I've given myself an idea. And then we've got this one that is super cool. I love that. And I'll pop a bit of ribbon in there for Christmas tag. And then this one. And she's beautiful. So, and then this was my original. So double-sided. That one I will put another girl on. And I love those. So I'll take a few photos of those and I'll pop them up on the screen. But thank you, ladies, for joining me. Thanks, Tina. I hope I've given you some ideas to get creative and, you know, make some things and have some homemade things on those Christmas trees or decorations or presents. You know, I always love and appreciate a homemade thing on my gifts and trees and that sort of thing. So thank you for watching and thanks for joining me on this Sunday night. And of course, make sure you follow us on the Nellie Mae Creative community, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks, everybody.